Hi students, I welcome you all for control system lectures. In the previous class we have discussed what is signal flow graph and the steps involved in signal flow graph to obtain the mathematical model in terms of a transfer function, and we have discussed a few numerical problems for obtaining the transfer function. So that was the last topic of unit 1, and today we are going to start a new topic, a new unit, that is time domain analysis. Right? If you observe the term time domain analysis actually tells the response of the system, behavior of the system with respect to time. For example, if you consider you are traveling in a bike, you are giving certain acceleration. Acceleration is nothing but input, right? Certain input you are giving, and you are traveling for 5 minutes, say 5 minutes. So at that 5 minutes, if you are considering the speed of the system with respect to the input is accelerator, with respect to acceleration input, the speed will be varying, right? And in that 5 minutes, how the speed is varying with respect to time, right? It basically tells the characteristic of system, how the system behaves with respect to time, right? The analysis we do, how we do analysis, and the terms involved in analyzing the system in terms of representing the system in terms of time, right? System response in terms of time. Okay. So actually, if you are giving, if you observe the system output is categorized into two types. One is a transient response, the other one is steady state. That means, in the same example, in the bike speed example, if you are giving certain input initially from the 0 state to the steady state, like suppose if you want to travel in 40 kilometers hours per hour, 40 kilometers per hour, right? So if you want to travel with 40 kilometers per hour from the initial state when you start your bike, so how much time it will take to reach that 40 kilometers per hour, right? If you depends on your input, right? If your accelerator is accelerating so high, and your time may be reduced, right? If your acceleration is less, like you are giving slowly increasing kind of input, then the response, if you observe, like it will initially starts from 0, it will reach 10 kilometers per hour, 20 kilometers per hour, 30, and reaches 40. And once it reaches 40, once you keep your accelerator constant, right, the speed will be constant, right? So if you observe this kind of output, the transient from 0 to 40 is a transient response, and once you reach that 40, and how much ever time you take, you run your bike at that 40 kilometers per hour, that is actually steady state. Like, we will get into more on what is this transient and what is steady state, right, in the future slides, right? So basically, as I told, the time domain analysis is a response of a dynamic system to certain input, which acts as a function of time, right? So usually, to observe the output of a system, we need to give certain input, right? So what kind of input we are giving to the system? In bike, you are actually giving certain random input, like the accelerator. Initially you started and kept as a constant, right? Like it is a kind of a ramp response. Initially you raised from 0 state and you kept it constant. Like that kind of a response is ramp response. And for example, if you are considering a water tank, filling a water in your tank, right? You will just turn on your pump, right? So when you are turning on your pump, what happens is the pump voltage starts from 0 to 230 at a time. So the input you are giving to your pump is step input. It starts at that particular time instant. When it is like before starting, it was 0. As soon as you started, it went to 230 volts, right? So once the pump voltage is given, pump will start and it will give a constant inflow, right? Inflow to the tank. So this kind of input you are giving, so this kind of input can be referred as a step input, right? We will get into the standard signals actually. So as I mentioned, if you see there in the first example I told, like bike example, when you start your bike, the initial transient, you can observe that initial transient, right? It is starting from 0 state and reaching a certain steady state. So the time taken from initial state to the final state, right? this is called a transient. This is called a transient response, right? The response you are getting, which is not constant with respect to time. X-axis is time, right? It is not constant with respect to time, and it is varying in the x-axis. So this kind of response is referred as a transient response. So once you observe here, till here there is a transient, but once it reaches kind of a maximum desired level, it will be a steady state. So this kind of response, after reaching certain point, it will just be constant, right? So that kind of response is called a steady state response. So when you are operating any system, particular system, you wanted it to be run in your desired level, right? So your desired trajectory, your system should follow. If you want your AC air conditioner to keep the room at 25 degrees, it should work at 25 degrees. Like it should maintain the 25 degrees in the room irrespective of the external disturbances, whatever it happens, right? The process of reaching the 25 degrees, say it might be at 30 degrees or 35 degrees in the room temperature when you start your AC. Once you give the step input as 25 degrees, the time it taken from 35 degrees to 25 degrees is called a transient, and once it reaches 25 degrees, it will be at that steady state. Like it will maintain that until unless you give some external input. Input in the sense, if you open the windows or doors, that will act as a disturbance, and again the temperature will rise. So at the zero initial condition, I mean if you are not taking any external conditions and giving only the input and observing the output, then the transient you observe is actually referred as transient response, and the steady state response you observe, it is referred to as a steady state response. As simple as that, right? So coming to standard signals, I think in your subject called signals and systems, you would have gone through the standard signals, types of signals, right? Basically there are different types of signals like impulse, ramp, step, sinusoidal and parabolic signals, right? But what input we are using for a system, right? In this class I will be discussing the standard signals like impulse, ramp, step and parabolic, and we will discuss about it, and we will derive the mathematical expression for those signals with respect to the system, right? Yeah, I will go deep into that when we come to the systems, when we are applying the input to the systems, right? Now coming to the point, in impulse signal. Impulse is kind of this, like you can see here on the right side of the plot, you can see there, it is actually, the output will be 0 at all the times. In the time axis it will be 0 at all the times, but at origin or 0, it will be some amplitude A. I will take amplitude as A, right? If A is equal to 1, then the impulse signal is called a unit impulse. If this A is equal to 1, then the impulse signal is called unit impulse. So this is about the function of impulse signal, right? It will be 0 at all times and amplitude certain constant value or amplitude at 0 origin, right? Then coming to the step signal, step is actually a sudden change from the actual input, like till the 0 point in the time axis, till 0, like from the negative axis it will be 0. Once the positive axis comes, then from 0 the amplitude will remain at A. For all time values of t greater than or equal to 0, it will remain at constant A. If it is A is equal to 1, then it is called unit step, right? As simple as that. Okay, then coming to the ramp. Ramp is actually a constant velocity signal, like it will be varying with respect to time. How it is varying? It will be varying in terms of the signal. If you can observe here, R of t is equal to A t for t greater than 0. If you substitute different values of time, at time t is equal to 0, what you will get? Substitute A is equal to say 1, then at time equal to 0, A is equal to 0, R of t is equal to 0. At time equal to 1, then whatever the amplitude you are mentioning, A. Suppose A is equal to 1 means AT, that is 1t, right? Similarly, when you are increasing your time scale, the different values you are giving for time, based on that your response will straight away it will increase, right? Kind of ramp response, it is ramp response, it is referred as ramp response, right? So if it is a unit ramp, we will be considering A is equal to 1. You can observe here ramp signal with slope A can be anything, right? Here ramp with unit response when A is equal to 1 or 2, increasing in units, number of units, right? Then coming to the parabolic signal is given as P of t is equal to AT square by 2 for all time values greater than 0. For positive axis, it is AT square by 2. Just substitute the values of time. Suppose t is equal to 0, substitute t equal to 0. Let us consider A as 1 for time being. We will consider unit parabola. So A is equal to 1. Then substitute different values of time. T equal to 1, what will get? 1 square by 2, right? 0.5. You can observe it is 0.5. Then substitute 2 here, 2 square by 2, it is 2, right? Substitute here. Then for t equal to 3, 3 square is 9, 9 by 2 is 4.5, right? So at 3 it is 4.5. That way the parabola will increase, right? It's the kind of parabola response, right? So these are 4 basic standard signals. So once the input is known, now what we know is we know inputs, different types of inputs to the system. It can be impulse, parabola, ramp or step. But we should know what is the system is actually. Like we know input, see you know before driving a scooter or a car, you should know the car actually, how to drive the car. You know the accelerator is input or brake is your input, right? Clutch is your input. But what is the system? For like you should know the dynamics of the system, right? So basically as per the syllabus is concerned, we are dealing with first order and second order systems actually. So whatever the system we consider practical system, as we discussed in the first unit, it can be represented in terms of a differential equation or a Laplace transform, right? So that Laplace transform tells you the dynamics of the system. So in this chapter what we are going to do is we are representing the dynamics of system in terms of a first order transfer function or a second order transfer function, right? We are dealing only with first order transfer function, second order. There are different types of systems, like we can actually go with the different types of representation and we can get the system model. But as far as your syllabus is concerned, it is about first order and second order system, right? If at all you have a system, we will be representing the system dynamics in terms of first order process, right? So yeah, okay, now actually we have to get the relationship of the signals actually. Suppose if you say, no, I have I don't have a ramp input, I have only step input. For a system to apply, suppose in example like water filling, pump is your input, right? What I told is the step input to the pump, that is 0 at time equal to 0, 230 volts after time equal to 0. Like for all positive times, positive axis, your amplitude is 230 volts. But I want to represent that input in terms of impulse or ramp or parabola. So there should be flexibility to change, right? Like you have you have something like step input, but if you want to change and give it in terms of a ramp, that means you should have, like for the pump, if you connect a regulator, right? There is a pump and you will be connecting a regulator, then the voltage is a function of a regulator. You can slowly vary the regulator so that the voltage will slowly increase. If you are keeping that, then the representation of input signal can be, it looks like a ramp. So the same application, what we are doing, from the step input we are converting into ramp input, right? Suddenly then instead of in regulator also, suddenly if you are pumping it input, right, then it looks like parabola. Right, with respect to time, if you observe, you just analyze the plot, how it looks. Step input is there. Step input is like you are just giving the constant input throughout the time. Instead of giving that, I will keep one regulator and I will just vary the regulator slowly. It will start from 0 volts, 10 volt, 20 volt, slowly it will increase, right? For all time scale, I'll keep that same amplitude change. Then it is a ramp response. If I am changing it suddenly, like if I am taking a parabola response, a t square by 2, that means actually it is like a bump kind of response, it will come over a time. So we should have that flexibility of giving inputs, right? So for that sake, actually we can form the relationship of all these 4 signals, right? If you observe the impulse signal, when you are actually integrating it, right? When you are applying the integration for the impulse response, what happens is you will get that step response. That we will derive it, how it is coming and all we can derive, and I'll derive it and I'll show it, okay? Now, but see, just see the flow of signals: input, step, ramp and parabola. When I am giving impulse, integration to impulse, it will convert into step. Step integration, it will convert into ramp. Ramp integration, it will convert into parabola. Similarly, I want to go back. You would have to do just differentiation of it, right? You can observe here. Just integration if you want to go for higher end signals, and if you want to go lower end signals, you will be differentiating it, right? So that's it about the signals, actually the standard signals. We'll do one thing, we'll start applying these signals to system, right? We'll consider first order system, then we'll apply all these signals to the system. Then we'll check how the response of this input behave, how if you apply this kind of inputs to a system, how the system will behave. That is what we want to know. That is what the time domain analysis is about. We'll be giving certain input to the system, the behavior of the system will be analyzing, right? So we'll start deriving, and we'll do the like derivation for the first order process in today's class, right? So let us consider first order process. As we mentioned all these input signals. Now we'll actually start the derivation of a first order system, right? Derivation for first order process. So let us consider a closed loop system. Like we already have discussed what is closed loop in the previous class, right? Consider this as a closed loop. This is actually what? G of s, right? G of s and feedback h of s. H of s minus r of s plus, right, c of s. So in the previous class we discussed and derived the expression for this. What we got, c of s by r of s is equal to, right, g of s by 1 plus g of s h of s, right? This is the closed loop equation for simple feedback system. Suppose if you are considering the first order process, right? For the first order process, what is actually order is about? Suppose in a Laplace transform, if you consider a system, say like okay, T of s is equal to k p of s by q of s. This is actually gain of the system. P is the numerator polynomial, Q is the denominator polynomial. So in a transfer function, the order of system is the maximum order of the denominator factor in a transfer function. So Q of s, if you consider, Q of s is equal to, say, a naught by s power n plus a1 s power n minus 1 plus a2 s power n minus 2 and so on. Right? The order of a system is referred to as the factor of n, like the maximum power of n. Right? For example, if you have a system like k by s square plus 2s plus 3. So in this, what is the order of the system? If you tell the order, it is the second order because the maximum power of s is 2. maximum power of S is 2. So it is a second order system, right? So this way we will represent the order of the system. So if you tell the first order process, what is the first order process? K by S plus 1, right? So the power of S, maximum power of S is 1. So maximum power of S is 1. So order is that equal to order of the system, right? So let us consider the system with first order in the sense K by S plus 1, whatever, right? So if the system feedback system, right, simple feedback system G of S, consider this as a first order, right? We'll consider this as a first order. Say G of S is equal to 1 by S, tau I'll take, right, time constant actually, right? Before going to this derivation, I will explain what is time constant actually. Suppose if you are giving certain input to the system, if your response or transient of the system, right, transient of this system, this is a transient till the point till it reaches steady state, right? So say this is the steady state, the point till it reaches the steady state is called the time constant. This is called a time constant, right? So in our simple RLC circuit, 1 by RCS plus 1, you would have seen this simple RLC circuit, that equation of RLC circuit. So time constant is referred as RC there, right? RC is the time constant. If you analyze that electrical system, the time taken for the signal to transmit and reach that final value, it is in combination of resistance and capacitance. You can analyze it by drawing by giving the step input for all the transients actually. In networks you would have seen this. Anyway, we won't go much deep into that topic. We'll stick to our topic. Let us forget, if you are not aware of these things, just forget this and we'll just come into this. Consider this as a first order process, just a simple first order process, 1 by ST. Since the power of S is 1, so this is first order, right? So 1 by ST, right, time constant. You can take T as a time constant actually. By S time constant, right? So C of S is the output. Then feedback, I am taking unity feedback, right? Minus plus simple unity feedback I am taking. H of S is equal to 1 in this case, right? Now what is the closed loop equation for this? G of S by 1 plus G of S H of S, right? So transfer function is 1 plus G of S, G of S by 1 plus G of S H of S. What is G of S? S tau divided by 1 plus 1 by S tau into 1. See, simple feedback like unity feedback. So 1. So expression can be written as 1 by ST. S tau. Just send this S tau this side and cancel out ST. We will get 1 by ST. So this is what the transfer function is equal to T of S. Right, I will just take it as a T of S. This is what the expression for first order process, first order time constant. I mean first order process with a time constant. So now what we do is, as we discussed, there are 4 types of signals: step, impulse, ramp and parabola, right? Parabola. Now what we will do, we will apply this input to the system, give this input to the system. So first signal is R of t in terms of time domain, not S domain, in terms of time domain, right? Yes, R of t. R of t is equal to U of t. That is actually in control system or process control, all the input signals are referred as U. You just remember this. in almost all the systems, when you are giving in terms of control system or process control, control aspect, whatever it is, the control aspect, the input signal is referred as u of t. It can be any kind of input, it is referred as u of t. U of t is equal to 1. See, I am taking unit step, right? Unit step is equal to 1 for t greater than or equal to 0. For all time, positive time values, I am taking input signal as 1, right? This is the signal. So this is r of t. This is r of t, this is t, right? So this is the signal. Now to represent in terms of the step input in terms of transfer function, what we will do is r of s. We will write this time domain in terms of Laplace domain in terms of r of s, that is Laplace transform of r of t. Laplace transform of r of t, that is 1 by s, right? Like if you are not aware of Laplace transform, you can just go through mathematical engineering mathematics, where you will get a set of formulas and derivations how to obtain Laplace transform for signals, right? If the time domain signal is 1, in Laplace it is 1 by s actually, right? You can just go through it, and time being I am directly giving the signal, right? 1 by s. Okay, now what is the plant actually? T of s is equal to, T of s is equal to r of s by, C of s by r of s. C of s by r of s. C of s is output and input here is r of s, that is 1 by s. Actually, what is the model we consider? First order model, that is 1 by tau s plus 1. Right. So what we will do, if you want the output signal C of s, that is equal to r of s into 1 by tau s plus 1. That is equal to 1 by s into 1 by tau s plus 1. Right. So this is actually now what we will do, we will take that partial fractions, right? So one more thing before doing the partial fractions, see here actually what we need is, here actually the coefficient of s is tau. So we want to change the representation of this transfer function and write in terms of poles. Poles are zeros, right? So here actually this quotient, whatever the quotient value is there, we have to send it. So what we need to do to cancel out this coefficient, we need to divide it by tau, right? So 1 by s remains constant, divide it by tau on numerator and denominator. So s plus 1 by tau. Now it is easy for us to actually convert in terms of, see, the only thing is this why we are doing this is, if you observe the Laplace transform to a time domain, there are certain formulas which is easy to represent if you have the representation in terms of a by s plus a, or like s minus a. There, like you can directly use that and convert frequency signal, that is the Laplace signal, into time domain signal. So for that sake we are doing this, right? Hope it is clear till here. Then what we'll do, we'll take the partial fractions. C of s is equal to 1 by s minus 1 by s plus 1 by t, tau. Right? If you are doing this, you are taking a LCM of this and convert it, it will convert into this term again. Right? Just you can check it, s into s plus 1 by tau. S into s plus 1 by tau is the denominator. Then we have here s, so we will send this part that side, and we will send s here. S and s will cancel out, and remains is 1 by t. Right? This is just like partial fractions. Just a partial fraction of this one. Right. Now what we will do, we will convert this signal in terms of time domain. So in this whole chapter we will be doing conversion of frequency signals S domain to time domain, because it is time domain analysis. Like what we are doing is time domain. So C of t is equal to Laplace inverse. L inverse will get time domain, right? So 1 by s minus 1 by s plus 1 by tau. So if you observe, 1 by s is there and 1 by s plus a. So there are certain formulas which can be which we can represent these signals in terms of time domain. Suppose if you have s plus 1 by s plus a, we can write this as like inverse. Sorry, I'll just remove this. This is actually inverse Laplace transform. Inverse Laplace transform of this is e power minus at u of t. Right, just remember, if you are not aware of these formulas, just go through your engineering mathematics and check out these formulas. Like, because they are very important in every part. Like from now we will be getting all these formulas. Laplace is very important for control systems to represent a system. So you should know, you should be aware of Laplace transform. So inverse Laplace of 1 by s is actually 1. And inverse Laplace of this signal is actually e power minus at. What is a here? 1 by tau. So e power minus 1 by tau into t. So what is this? This signal is for t greater than or equal to 0, because what input we are giving is a step input. It is actually a constant value for all time greater than 0. See, for step input, it starts from 0 and it will be remaining at a for all time constant, for all time intervals, right? So this is r of t. Since it a equal to 1, we will take a equal to 1 in step, and see, observe the output. Just you need to substitute the values of t here. 0, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Substitute different values of t here. You will get c of s. C of t actually. C of t. So 1 minus e power minus 1t. Substitute at 1 equal to, 0 at 0, t equal to 0, e power 0, e power 0 is like t equal to 0, e power 0 is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. And when you are substituting 1, like 1 by e power 1 by tau. This time constant, you can take it as any value, like any constant value, and it should remain a constant for all time values. When you are taking certain values of time constant tau, take the time constant as the same value for whole set of time, right? Then you will get the time constant when you are taking time constant as 1 by 1 e power minus 1, you will get it as certain value. You can change it is 0.707 or something like that. It will come. You can just use your calculator to substitute time values and plot this, right? Then plot this. It will come this 1.414, and it will remain constant once it reaches certain value. So for the step input, the response of step input you are getting is this, right? So this is how you can model. You can get the characteristics of system when you are giving certain input. So now we will go with impulse. Second one is impulse. Impulse response. Impulse. R of t is equal to del of t or u of t. You can take it as u of t again. So we will make it as a common terminology. That is equal to 1, because for all time values it is 0 and unit impulse is 1 r of t, right? For t, right, this is minus infinity or whatever, like so it is actually 1, and remaining all times it is actually 0. So what is the first order transfer function? R of s by, C of s by r of s. My mistake. C of s by r of s. So this is actually, we can represent this as r of s, right? Del of s actually impulse. When you are converting and telling in terms of time domain signal in terms of Laplace, it is actually a 1 here, right? So this is actually, I shouldn't tell this, u of t is not 1. In terms of r of s only, it is actually 1. Right? Okay, fine. Then we'll give a first order system, tau s plus 1. Okay, r of s is 1. Right? Just substitute r of s is equal to 1. This is actually as similar as step input response, r of s into 1 by tau s plus 1. Then r of s is 1. So what you get is 1 by tau s plus 1. Whatever the step we followed to show it in terms of s, we'll do the same step again. That is 1 by tau by s plus 1 by tau. I'm just multiplying and dividing it by tau. Why we are doing to get the formula in terms of s plus 1 or s plus that way, right? So it is easy for us to convert in terms of a time domain, right? Then what we get is 1 by t and this term, right? 1 by t s plus tau. So in terms of t, c of t, right, 1 by t, this is actually we have done the same thing. We'll keep this outside and e power minus at, like 1 by s plus a. Just before we saw this formula, that is e power minus at u of t. U of t. E power at is 1 by t, 1 by tau t. Right? This I am keeping outside, right, to represent in this way. So if for different values of, like when you are giving a impulse, if you observe the response at the initial time at t equal to 0, this is actually e power 0 is 1 by time constant. Say time constant, it started somewhere here. It depends on the time constant you select. So let us consider this is the time constant value, and initially at t equal to 0, this value will turn into 1, right? So whatever the time constant value, it will be here. Then once you start increasing the time, t equal to 1, and it will be keep on reducing and it will reach 0. Right? This is a kind of response you get when you are applying impulse response to the first order process, C of s. Right? R of say s, because we are representing in terms of s here. No, like when you are writing the time in terms of t, we can write it as t alone. Anyway, it is the impulse response, right? So this is how it will come. Then one more we will do, and we'll wind up for this session. Unit ramp we will do. Unit ramp. So what is unit ramp? R of t is equal to t for all t greater than or equal to 0. Right? This is the input. R of t and t. Okay. Now convert in terms of R of s, Laplace transform, LT Laplace transform of R of t. That is equal to 1 by s square. Just look into the formulas, not giving all formulas here. When you are converting Laplace, when you are converting in terms of Laplace, time in terms of Laplace, if it is a t, then what you get is s square. Right? This is the input. Then what is the first order equation? C of s by R of s. R of s. Okay, a minute. C of s by R of s is equal to 1 by tau s plus 1. Just send this R of s. We know R of s. C of s is equal to 1 by s square into 1 by tau s plus 1. Right? Just an observation. In step input, what you get is 1 by s into tau s plus 1. It is just an s square. Anyway, we will write it down in terms of t. So s square, then what we get is you need to convert into you need to do partial fractions. So 1 minus s time constant divided by s square plus t square divided by 1 plus st. Just check it once the time, like once you convert this into, once you take LCM and convert, you will get it in terms of this C of s. Right? This is just a partial fractions. Right? Then what we get is C of s. C of s is equal to 1 by s square minus tau by s plus tau. Like this actually I am converting in terms of same, like I am removing the s coefficient and sending this side. So what we get is 1 by time constant, right? Right, 1 by tau, else I will write it down, 1 by tau square divided by 1s plus 1 by tau. So here actually tau and tau will get cancelled out. Then what we get is 1 by s square minus tau s plus tau by s plus 1 by tau. Right. So now applying inverse Laplace transform. Apply inverse Laplace transform. Apply inverse Laplace transform. C of t is equal to 1 by s square. Actually, you would have observed here t, if it is t, Laplace transform is 1 by s square. If it is 1 by s square, what is inverse Laplace transform? It is t actually, right? 1 by s for step actually, what we did, step input is 1, and if you are converting Laplace, it is 1 by s. Here we have 1 by s, inverse Laplace transform is step just 1, right? So minus time constant alone, because it is inverse Laplace is 1. Inverse Laplace is 1. Then this we know, we did for last two problems. So time constant I will keep it outside, and e power minus 1 by tau into t. Right? This is what the expression when you are applying the ramp input to the signal. Right? When you are giving a ramp input, substitute different time values and give the signal r of t, and for all time values what you get is this, like kind of this response. Just it looks like some offset of this value. It is like this, some offset of this value, this response. This is C of s, actually C of t, because once we convert it in terms of time domain, we have to write C of t and r of t, right, for t. So this is what the mathematical expression when you are giving certain input to the plant. So yeah. So I hope it was clear of deriving the mathematical expressions when you are giving certain inputs to the first order process. Right. In the next class we will see the second order process, like how the second order process looks when you are giving certain input to the second order plant, how the behavior will vary. But as a first order response, first order plant model k by s plus 1, it is actually very simple. But when it is coming to the second order process, it will be a little complicated. You have to focus on it, right? So we will discuss on second order plant, and we will give certain all these inputs to the second order plant, and check out the response, how it responds when I am giving all these inputs to the second order plant in the next class, right? Thanks for your attention. We will see you in the next class.